Hello beautiful people, and welcome to another Galactic Mayan Astrology report. So this is a report for the 16th of March 2021, and the energy that we are moving into is the energy of yellow human. Now, very much in alignment with the energy of yellow human, which is all about being a human being. We're going to get onto that in a moment. But a dear sister of mine is the mother of a really beautiful and extremely sensitive child, a beautiful girl called India. And they have been accepted onto a program in the United States, she's based in the UK, that is going to support her to adjust essentially to being in this really intense world. So she's got sensory processing challenges as India, and for me that's just about being like a super duper sensitive soul in a very, very corrupt energetic world. So this program is basically to support her to be able to settle into being a human being, and the fundraising in order to make it happen. So I would like to ask from my heart to yours for you to give as generously as you possibly can, whether that's, you know, a tiny little bit of money or loads of money, to support them to get there, because it's going to be really, really supportive for both India and for a mum as well. So I'll pop the link in the description below, so please have a little look at the page and give whatever you can. So to get into our Wavespell report, we are moving into the energy of yellow human, as I say. So on one level, we are all incredibly sensitive beings. Now, the reality, however, is that as the consciousness on the planet has been shifting and changing, you know, the young people that are coming through now are more sensitive than previous generations, you know, because consciousness is moving, consciousness is changing. But there are two aspects to being a human being, aren't there? You know, we've got this like ability to be very conditioned, and, you know, we're beamed into this experience with a mind that basically we're constantly, from the time that we're born, assessing information and experience to feel safe. And if we've had experiences that have not been safe, it corrupts our perspectives, and it puts like a film on the way that we see things and the way that we experience reality. So we've got this aspect of us that's conditioned. And then the other piece of that as well is around, you know, the kind of industry side of things that conditions us to want to buy, to make profit, and all of that different stuff. You know, so we've got this real like Achilles heel really of when we get our certain buttons pushed or certain buttons created, it means that we're not experiencing reality from a clean space. We're coming through a distortion. The other aspect of the human being, however, is this incredibly conscious, synchronistic force that we are. You know, this being that we are, this transmitter that we are, that is able to connect pure consciousness to the earth and to allow the energy of the earth to beam out into the cosmos. So we've got this like super duper mystical aspect of who we are, and we've also got this real conditioned aspect of who we are, and these are the two pieces of being a human. Now, when it comes to this conditioned aspect of who we are, you know, we didn't get raised in an environment, as a general rule, that said, did you know you're a human, and what that means is that you are infinitely powerful and able to create anything that you want consciously, and are always creating everything that's happening on a subconscious level. Nobody sat us down and had that chat. So what that means is, you know, our conditioning has kind of been a backlog of humans that have not understood what humans actually are. You know, it's just this like regurgitating limitation, essentially, that comes from the wounding on the ancestral lines, but also this like blindness as to who we are. And within that, you know, our duty really is to dismantle that conditioning so that we can then drop back into the place of conscious creator. Now, the conscious creator, you know, we're here to who knows why we're here, in essence. But what I feel and what most of us feel is this drive to collaborate and support these out of balance structures on the planet to shift. And we're really moving toward the free human. We're moving towards freedom and free will. And as we all have experienced in our lives, the shadow and the challenge is always there to teach. So we have this construct on the planet of disempowerment. That person, that thing, that situation has got power over me and I am a slave to that, which in another terminology is victim mentality, mentality being the operative term within that. And there may be structures that exist to encourage us to stay within that victim mentality on a conscious level, like that's what they think that they're doing. But on the underneath of that, it's always taking us towards our power. And, you know, this whole freedom and liberation that we're seeking, it's an inside job, you know, and when we've dismantled the belief systems that we hold, regardless of how they came, we hold them. When they're dismantled, we then have the ability to do anything. We are limitless, but our mind is the filter for our limitlessness. So if our mind is limited, we're not able to manifest that into the world. So within the yellow human process, you know, it's multifaceted humanness that is really present within the yellow human archetype. You know, the honouring of our challenge, the honouring of our shadow, the honouring of our wounding. You know, it's not about we chop the arm off, you know, we don't like that part of being a human, so we deny it. It's about the reclaiming and being able to be all of it as opposed to just the conscious bits, because actually the shadow is leading us all the time. It's our greatest teacher. You know, this idea of like devil energy or all the different conspiracy theories that go around that talk about like demonic forces, you know, it is the teacher, you know, it's the other side of the Godhead, you know, of the whole. And it is, you know, this whole process that we're within, you know, even if we look at it from a strictly scientific perspective, you know, let's forget all of the consciousness and all of that for a moment. You know, there's an evolutionary drive that exists, yeah, and we can look at all the different reasons as to what, you know, through getting things wrong, through making mistakes, through making a mistake and getting it right, you know, these things then lead to the transformation of life on this planet to enhance life on this planet. So there's a drive that exists, yeah, that's always taking us toward greater life. And the thing with the human is that we are conscious. We get to choose. And then there's the whole thing of, well, we never get to choose and all that different stuff. All right, yeah, that is probably a truth on a certain level, but the reality of the here and now is that we get to choose. Do we walk past that piece of litter, or do we pick it up, or trash, or do we pick it up? Do we send that message to that person when we're really fucking angry, essentially projecting our anger onto them? Do we tell the person that we're in love with that we're in love with them? Do we go out for a run in the morning? You know, there's always these choice points that we get to, and our conditioning often is what influences the choice point. So if we dismantle the conditioning, then the choice point we're able to align with love, essentially, when the dismantling of the conditioning has happened. But the thing that's pushing us to get to that place of harmony is the shadow, you know, the part of us that's like, no, you shouldn't go running, no, you shouldn't do that. As we transcend that voice being in the driving seat, you know, the voice that's like, yeah, you're totally justified to just go and have a go at that person. You know, as we are able to hold that aspect of us, thank you, love you, greatest teacher, I've risen now and I'm able to meet you, as opposed to, you're stronger than me and I must do what you say. It's this whole traditional thing of the devil, you know. But the devil is always pushing us to grow, you know, it's always this evolutionary force. So within this process of Yellow Human, we're really going to be working with our humanity, but redefining what our humanity is. Yes, we have our conditioned behaviour, yes, we have our mystical self, but we have all of it. And until we can sit with and claim and hold space for it all, we're giving our power away. If we are focused on the mystical aspect of the human being and only wanting to hang out there and only wanting to embody that part of us, so much of our energy is lost to the shadow because we're not working with it. We're not allowing ourselves to be like, you're a part of me. Hey, I want to claim you, I want to have a relationship with you. Simultaneously, if we're operating from a place of wound and completely shut down conditioning and we don't recognise that we're a conscious creator and we're not dismantling, you know, the conditioning, we're stuck in then the cul-de-sac, we're stuck in the roundabout and the loop. So we've really got an opportunity within the Yellow Human process to go through a gateway with our humanity, you know, to go through a gateway into greater levels of embodiment of our cosmic selves, you know, and greater levels of relationship with our wounded selves as well, you know. I don't feel that we ever, it's like the experiences that we have don't ever go away. It's not ever as if they've not happened. But the ability for those parts of us to dictate our behaviour in the present is dismantled. So really we're always going to be holding parts of ourselves, you know, and taking care of parts of ourselves because we've all been hurt. So we're always going to be in that process. But equally, the more that we do that, the more that we're then able to like have the space for our highest expression to be alive within ourselves, within our lives, and to be operating from a place of like being in our centre. There's a part of me that wants to do that right now, but I'm able to stay in my centre. There's a part of me that wants to do that right now, but I'm able to stay in my centre. I'm not able to stay in my centre, okay, so now I'm going to come back into my centre through self-acceptance and acknowledgement, you know? So this beautiful, beautiful process that we're in all of the time. So just to say as well, I am going through big transitions within my life and I'm caring for one of my relatives. So I am streamlining my work now. So I'm not going to be, this is the last mail out that I'm going to do. I don't know until when, if it'll come back online. But I will be continuing to do the Wavespell reports, and I've also just rejigged my website. You know, whenever I go through a big transition, I change, and that's reflected in what I offer. So have a little look at my website as well. I am working on a smaller schedule at the moment, but I'm still working, I'm still here, and I'd still really love to connect with you if you feel the pull. And as I said at the beginning of the video, my beautiful sister is fundraising for an incredible cause with her daughter India, and I'll pop the link to that below as well. So I'm sending you so much love and so much respect, and yeah, I hope that you have a glorious Yellow Human process and that you're really able to just claim yourself, like fucking claim it, claim all of it, be you, and stand in the middle of it and go, yes, I'm here and I'm worthy of love. totally worthy of love, because in essence, that is what everything is always distilling into. The human being can only be free when we know and claim our worthiness to love, to be love. You know, it's like, and as we do that, it's then the need to claim it is gone because we're just in it. But really, that's what it all, like the secret medicine, magic is love. You know, it's what we've all been, and that starts as an inside job. It starts inside and ripples out. You know, any out of balance behaviour is a cry for love. And that's not to say that we're meant to be doormats. That's totally not where we're at. We're meant to have boundaries. We're meant to say no, but that is also an act of love. So enjoy dropping back into love, and I'll see you next time.